All right, guys, welcome back to Cut the Slack. We have a different episode here, and I'm going to hit you with a surprise topic. We haven't discussed this at all, but it's something that I'm experiencing right now as a parent, and I kind of just wanted to get your reaction without even being able to think about it.
All right.
I know you're a parent. You have two kids. One that's and what? How old are your kids?
12 and 2.
Okay, 12 and 2. So I'm in a little bit different scenario. I've got a 30-year-old, I've got a 21-year-old, I've got a 20-year-old, and I've got a 14 and an 18-year-old. I just make sure I cover everybody. Two of my kids live with their mother, my ex, and two of my sons. And it's been a struggle ever since she and I broke up to maintain my relationship with the kids. So I've always been that involved parent. I've always been the parent that, was very involved in their infancy, feeding them, changing their diapers, bathing them, the whole nine yards. I always did all of those things. Volunteered in their classrooms, was on their field trips, took them to school, picked them up from school. Very much a present father all the time. I tried to continue that after their mother and I split up and go and still take them to school. But as my relationship with her deteriorated, things started happening, and it seemed to me that I started to become villainized with my two sons that were living with her. At one point, my older son, who's now 21, came to live with me during his high school years. And I think he was about 12 when she and I broke up. So we had a really good relationship during his high school years. And I think that's a critical time in raising a child is that kind of becoming a man or that coming of age and becoming an adult. So I felt really good about our relationship at that time. And then my younger son lived with her in another state. And then my middle son, who was 21, went to live with her while he went to motorcycle college. He got sick while he was there. His health deteriorated, and I believe he had a lot of mental and emotional struggles too that come along with being really, really sick and just feeling like junk for probably a couple of years. Where his health deteriorated. He went down to from 160 pounds to 113. He was like a skeleton.
Oh,
It,
wow.
it was severe.
Yeah.
They did surgery, took his gallbladder out. He got better, but it seemed like our relationship continued to deteriorate all the way through that process, and then even more so at the end. And then I started to work to try to rebuild that relationship and just, not be a dad that wanted to control everything because I couldn't. He didn't live with me, so all I could do was talk with him. But he became angrier and angrier as time went on, and I believe it had a lot to do with the influence of his mother. Um, so I stopped interacting with her because anytime I would have an argument with her, it seemed like she would take that argument to him or both of them,
Oh, yeah.
and then kind of
Wage war.
wage war, yeah, through my children, I guess. And when you get dripped on like that continually with little bits of information, and they continue to be reinforced, then it becomes believable. And I really truly believe I'm a good parent, but that's not the way my sons see it now, or at least not this one son in particular. So yesterday things were going pretty good with he and I. We were having good conversations on the phone. There was an issue of some money that um, went to her that through the government, through child support and all that, and we took our child support case offline, and I pay my child support directly with her. But there was an amount that was left in holding. And she and I had made an agreement at one point that when that money came to either one of us, we would split it, basically. I found out that it wasn't split, and I had some feelings about that. And so I talked to her, asked her about it via text message, and immediately I got a scathing text from my son. So it was like she immediately took it to him. Even though we weren't in a big argument, I wasn't being really crazy or rude or derogatory. I just asked questions and told her I was kind of confused about how it worked out. But that immediately turned into a massive blowout situation where my son texted me this massive text about F you, you're a disappointing father, you're pathetic, he just went on with these scathing, hurtful comments. And, my reply to him was initially, hey, this is just between your mom and I. We're just having a discussion about this. But he took it very personally and basically cut me off. And then she messaged me and said, I am so disappointed in the father that you've become. So it affected me deeply. It really shocked me. And in the last 24 hours, I've been completely out of sorts by it because to me, at this stage in my career as a parent, I've learned that all I really want is a connection with my children. That's all I want. I only want to spend time with my kids. I only want to be able to communicate with them and talk with them. That's my only desire. Because every time I end up giving advice or sharing what I think they should do at this age, they tend to get super pissed off that I say anything. So my technique prior to this was don't contact my ex because it never works out good and it always ends up staining the relationship with my children and I.
Yeah.
But
deeper.
Yeah, I went out of that yesterday to contact her against my better judgment, and sure enough, it ruined my relationship with my son again. This has happened multiple times now. And it blew me out, man. And so I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is I want to ask you what your view on that. What's your perspective on that? And is there something that can be done, or
I mean, what you're going through is what we call standard, okay? And when women choose to disable a man from being a man to his children, and she's supported in that effort, it creates it is bringing in turmoil and confusion and disaster to the children. It's literally manifesting destruction by not allowing a father to be a father. Like any type of talk that degrades the male that she has chosen is a war offense, and you cannot take back the abuse that you incite, that you impose onto your children. It stamps them and lives on the rest of their life. And it's what we call toxic mother syndrome. And it is any attempt. This can happen even if you're in a relationship. And this goes back to media, right? The way that she's acting is not a reflection of you whatsoever. It is the culture that she is being just nurtured by. Women are supported in being a single mom. Women are looked at as like, oh, you're independent. You don't need a man. You don't no, like that is so destructive to society. Like the family unit is the most important thing that we are contributing to while on this planet, because we are forming the next crop of humans. And anything that a man wants to impart onto his children, that's his role. That is his only role on this planet.
Well, I feel
in the form of a parent is to impart knowledge, common sense, wisdom, critical thinking, like good habits, right? Like that's what we're there for. And when it could be man or woman, if you're preventing like that flow of energy, like it's just disaster. It's madness. So she has disabled you from living out your purpose and then blames you for not living out your purpose.
That's what I feel like
It's
I'm in.
pure shenanigans, and that is, you do not respond to that. You said my choice back at this point was to not communicate whatsoever, and I broke that. So I would first say that you did this to yourself by breaking your gut feeling, because we already know what's up. And it is standard for destructive women to do this, and men, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen it happen on both sides of the
Yeah.
coin. You can easily
So-
villainize the other parent.
it's so easy.
You
We're
know?
talking about, like, dude, like I said, what's happening to you happens in marriages that are still together.
Yeah, I've seen it happen when people are still together and they start to undermine the credibility of the other parent. And I made a decision a while ago that my purpose was not to villainize or vilify
Yeah.
their mother. That's their mother. Well, I'm never going to be able to make them not love their mother. That's because it's instinctual and it's primal. There's that sits with us. We always love our mother and our father in most cases. So I chose to not say things about their mother and not build stories and not try to infiltrate their mind, because again, all I care about is having a relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
And so that's me and them. And it has really nothing to do with her unless there's a life event like a graduation, a marriage, a birth of a baby or something where we need to be together or somehow converse. But I don't see that happening on the other side of the fence. And I know I'm not alone. I know that a lot of moms have been villainized by their dads.
Yeah.
I know.
This is petty kindergarten shit.
I mean, typically it is petty. I agree. But typically in our society, the kids stay with the mom. That's just the natural flow of things.
Well,
and now there are some people that have gone the opposite way, and the dads are better suited and all of that kind of stuff. But the majority, I would say, of the kids are with their mom when there's a situation of divorce. And in that demographic of people, there's a lot of dads that have been villainized and have become rendered ineffective and mute and not able to do anything because they just have no control and no influence.
So that's what I was going to say, to tie the media back into this. When we look at shows like The Simpsons or Family Guy or all these shows that depict the male figure, the dad, as this dopey, overweight, like, just like it's within the culture to denigrate the male figure of the home. Like, and that's just another layer of sowing chaos and destruction from the top. That's what I'm saying. Like, Disney and this whole idea of like, oh, I'm a mermaid, I'm a princess, I'm this, I'm that. Dude, they are programming that child to think grandiose, egotistical, like destructive patterns of thinking and of expectation then at that point on their life. And it is criminal. It's disgusting. Like, so it's crazy.
Well,
But
I believe that a two-parent household is a good thing. And
Yeah,
and
of
honestly, I mean, the traditional would be a father and a mother, a male and a female. But even if you're a female couple or a male couple, just having two different perspectives allows the child to grow with an open mind and to see a few different ways. Some parents are good at the discipline, some are good at structure, some are good at work ethic, while others are good at home and family, social society kind of thing. So usually when you have a two-parent household, one parent is able to teach certain things while the other teaches other things, and maybe one's a little more on the disciplinarian structure side, and one's a little on the free love and creative side, and that creates a balance, and that's the purpose.
And the child observes that as, okay, there's choice here.
There's choice. There's a
choice
partnership.
here. It's not just.
I agree.
Yeah.
And when you have a situation where only one parent is influencing a child, your hope is that that person has the open mind to be able to show both sides and teach the children to think openly. And it, but if you're in a situation where one parent maybe doesn't have that ability, or one parent just has such a closed mind or tunnel vision, and they're the main parent that influences the children,
Yeah.
then the other parent really is at a loss.
Yeah.
At a loss, man.
And yeah, they've like multiplied their hate into their kids, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to forgive them for they do not know type of thing, because it may take that kid till they're 40 years old to be like, one day, oh my gosh, I get it now. Like, I see what happened to me, not as the person in it, but now observing the elements of what made me behave in these ways. And it's like, dude, you don't need to wait till you're 40. You need a conversation with dad. That's what the fuck you need. You need someone in your ear who's giving you life strategy. And that's what I'm like, that needs to happen along the way. Just like we're getting like, just like tyranny's being drip fed, 10, 20 years all the way through school. You capture capturing the mind of a child, right? Like, you start young, and it's those daily, weekly little investments of strategy. Hey, this is the way you do this. This is how you approach this. It's that every week or every day or every month, whatever, but the longer the gap is between those deposits, the further you get away from that. It's just like working out, right? Like, or anything that you're doing, you're in your business. You stop marketing yourself. You just created a gap in lead flow because there's no action. You stopped investing to get a return. So,
and I feel, in a way, that's kind of where I am. Like, I can't invest in those children because I can't communicate with them. I don't have any, since they live in another state, I don't have any form of consistent influence, even if it's just taking them out for a soda or fishing, or just spending some time with them just to talk about life. And the purpose for school, and I would say the media being pure, if the media was pure, the purest form of journalism, and also school for that matter, is to teach a child to be an open thinker, to think for themselves, to look at all sides of a situation and weigh for themselves what they believe is true. But when you don't have the ability to communicate with that child, that puts you at a huge deficit, a huge loss. Where now it feels like I just have to sit and wait. I do, like I mentioned, have a 30-year-old child. We went through a similar situation with him where he didn't talk to me for a big portion of his 20s because he was so angry at me. And then as he got closer to 30, just recently he came around, and we've had just a great relationship. So I understand the positivity there and the fact that there may be a light at the end of the tunnel, but what really just messes me up internally is that I may have to wait 3, 4, 5, or even 10 years for my middle son to get to a point to where he's really analyzing all of this for himself and remembering the experiences that he actually had with me. That's what I would love to say to him. Like, I know people say this and people say that, but what did you experience when you were around me? Was I always trying to screw people over? Was I always trying to screw you over? Or was I helpful? And I can't.
Yet another reason, another point to why we need to digitize ourselves. Because if your son has a cell phone and he is connected through some platform that he's scrolling through, you can now put out a video and say, I'm going to save you 15 years of turmoil, of stress, of confusion, of this chaotic lens that you're only being fed. You're only being fed chaos. So I can't expect you to bring enlightenment when you haven't even seen enlightenment. So, son, here I am, and this is how I'm going to get through to you. That's a fucking real shit, dude. So like,
And honestly, I feel like that would be the only form of.
and that's a big reason why, I mean, we're even doing this on some crazy shit. Like,
Yeah.
There's value in being alive and being able to just capture that. And who is Robert Kiyosaki saying? He said, artifacts, dude, artifacts. We're going to die. Like, our bodies will die. This video is an artifact on our life at this moment.
Yeah,
And
sharing.
It lives.
It lives.
Hey, we die, we get taken out by whatever reason, we have artifacts. And nothing will be skewed from our artifacts because this is it. Like, that's another thing, dude. Like, so long as people don't publicize their view, their position on things, they're questionable. Straight up. Like, in your situation, I would, hey, let's do a Zoom. Let's go IG live with your mom and talk and see where that goes. Like, you know, like because she will expose herself, but she would never do that. She would never agree to doing a documented exchange of communication for the public.
No, it would be too sketchy and uncontrollable.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, she can control the narrative at her house because I'm not there.
So by not agreeing to do that, it is known that she has something to hide. She knows she's behaving in a wrong way, and she wants to conceal that. Cameras, fucking podcasts, IG Live, these tools, again, they all can be used to enlighten a young mind and say, look, you don't need, she's living one way, one expression of the human experience. There's 100 other, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to show you the 99 other, and you make your choice at that point. Because so far I've been blocked from doing so, and that is a crime. That is an offense. I'm here to help you, and that's what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Forceful parenting.
Dude.
Yeah,
but it's fueled by love.
It is fueled by love, man. And I realize there are some bad parents out there, and there are some bad people out there that kids probably shouldn't be around, but I don't believe I'm one of them. I believe that every day I want to help my kids. Every day I want to support them. And if nothing else, I just want to interact with them. I just want to have a relationship with them. Even if I'm not correcting them, even if I'm not guiding them.
Just time.
I just want time with my kids, you know? And
yeah.
I heard a saying from an old man, and the story is a short one, but it basically is a person that asked an old man, you know, if he had one choice looking back on his life, what would he change? And what he said was he would spend more time enjoying his children and less time trying to fix them.
Boom.
And that's where I'm at right now. I just want time with my kids, and I want to leave all the other stuff out of it. That's my heart right there.